we have a few more speakers, very important. One of them is Mr. John Doyle. He's running for City Council in the city of Pasadena. Yay! I met John through fighting and helping BLM and Pasadena activists after George Floyd tragedy, and also Anthony McLean was killed right here in Pasadena. The activists for weeks and weeks shut down the streets, shut down Colorado Boulevard. Every time it got shut down, City Hall would receive thousands of phone calls saying, do something, do something. They receive more phone calls than when you lobby City Hall. So just like legislation wins things, civil disobedience wins things. Right. Civil disobedience wins things on the street. Don't you forget it. And don't let politicians or anybody else tell you that all you can do is vote for bills. Now those are very important, but you could do it by shutting things down and stopping the movement of goods and services. So I wanted to present John Doyle because what they won was one of the few community citizen police review boards. These things try to give the citizens, us and non-citizens, more power over police and make police more accountable. It's one of the very only solutions to make police accountable to us. When they're accountable to us, we have the power of subpoena, discipline, hiring, fire, and transfer. That automatically means defund or whatever, because we are going to be able to control more of the police. Mr. John Doyle, give it up for Mr. John Doyle.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me. You asked me to keep this to 3 minutes to talk about solidarity and the media and police oversight. I'll try to do that. That's a big task. First of all, though, the police oversight in Pasadena, it's new. It's about a year old, and I was a part of it, but I would say Andre Henry was a huge part of it. And if there's a person who's my favorite activist, it's him. He is one of the smartest men that I've met, and he's taught me a lot. But in that, Andre and I had a little bit of a difference. We always had many drinks and talks, and I thought that the police were the tip of the iceberg, and that economics, jobs, is what's driving poverty-driven crime, and that's the core of the element. If there's an iceberg, the police are at the top, and that's what you can see, and there's a lot more underneath that I want to get to. Before I start, and I am going to get this to 3 minutes. We do have to talk about facts, and the fact is that this is Native American land. This used to be Mexico. This was taken over, and this land was redistributed to Caucasian people. That there are African Americans who served as free labor in this country for 250 years, and they were not paid a dime. At the end of slavery, the enforcers of slavery, or the overseers, were then made into the police department that we know today. And throughout history, labor has been at the center of U.S. growth or other economic growth and colonialism, and the enforcers of labor have been the police. It's get these people to work, and I don't want to see them. So that has been the job throughout history of the police. And at the end of slavery in the U.S., people were put out onto the streets with no job, no money, no education, and the law was changed to end slavery, but not for criminals. And so this apparatus of the criminal justice system was born, and these enforcers, the overseers, were made to be police. And so people were put back into slavery in the South by being criminals. What also came out were unions. Unions were labor by white people that was actually paid, and they were actually made to keep African Americans out of certain jobs. Back then, obviously there were only whites and African Americans. Then the railroads came. Chinese Americans came in. More labor came in. And that was more, the railroads came and ended in California. And through that labor, this movement of labor is how we're united. Our labor has built this country. Our labor is not a part of the identity. People in schools are not learning about our contributions to this country, contributions to the economic growth, what the railroads did, tying the whole country together. Once the railroads ended, obviously the Chinese came out to California. African Americans left the South to get, this is about as far away from the South as you can get out here. There were a lot of Chinese labor, and so they made labor laws that no more Chinese could come in. And so other Asian groups started coming into the country that were more skilled. And I'm going to end this in a little bit. More skilled, but they were still not able to get jobs because of language barriers. They weren't able to use their degrees, so they had to become entrepreneurs. And one way that we can build solidarity is by making the lives better for all of us, because African Americans and Asians we do a lot of entrepreneurial work, we're doing a lot of contract work, we're doing a lot of consulting work, and we're not protected by the state labor laws. So we need to make life better for ourselves by providing each other with health care, working with policy to make our lives better, because the unions are protected. And just to wrap it up, the police are a labor union. Just want you to know that. They are a union that is protected. So I'll wrap it up. Just wanted to put those facts out there, why we need to come together. And the last is that the police and the media have a symbiotic relationship. The police feed the media information. That's how they get their information, and they put it out there. Thank you.
Give it up for John. So, can you imagine this man to be a city council person? Huh?